Hello, friend. I'm Katie Hunt, your ACSM personal trainer, and today we're going to go through a head-to-toe feel-good mobility workout, starting in a standing position with big toe extensions. First, find your best posture, shoulder blades slid down your back, hands can be wherever you'd like, and then your goal here is to lift just your big toe up off the ground, keeping the other four toes on the floor. This can be a little bit of a mind bender, but it's a great way to start our workout. If you're up for a challenge, you can then transition to leaving your big toe on the floor and raising your toes up. Go back and forth, aim for about 5 of each. All right, more toe fun is up next. We're going to do something called piano toes. So kind of the same idea, only you're going to go trying to articulate through each toe from your big toe to your little toe and then little toe to big toe. You can go both directions. Try to focus on the sensation of this. This is so great for strengthening our mind-body connection with our feet. We've got the most concentration of proprioceptors in our feet, so I want to make sure our feet are really active, strong, and taken care of. This is also going to strengthen the muscles in your feet. Okay, next up, a little less challenging, we've got toe heel raises. So you're going to stand with your feet about hip distance, and you're going to rock forward so that you come up onto the balls of your feet, and then you're going to rock back onto your heels. Now, if your balance tends to be a little fussy or needs a little work, you might want to have a chair in front of you or stand close to the wall to practice this one. So I'm really trying not to overly exaggerate the bend in my hips while I do these. I'm focusing on the feet. This exercise is going to strengthen every muscle in your foot, especially those arches, which again, we want to be strong all the way from our tippy toes to our head. Speaking of our head, next up we've got a little neck sequence. So find your best posture again, make sure those shoulder blades stay back, and then I want you to drop your chin towards your chest. You're trying to create that double chin and see if you can actually touch your chin to your chest. Here I'm standing sideways, you can see. Now, don't force it on any of these. Don't force anything. If there's anything sharp or super uncomfortable, you don't have to lower your head that far. You don't have to force your chin onto your chest. But I am going to have you hang out here for a little bit and breathe. And then on your next inhale, lift that chin up so that it's level. And I'm going to have you turn your head to the left. And then look down at the ground and see if you can bring your chin towards your left shoulder. Again, don't force anything. You might feel those scalenes, those muscles in your neck talking to you. But wherever you find kind of that end range of motion, I just want you to pause there and breathe. Deep breaths. Lift the chin back up, and of course we got to balance it out and do the other side. You might want a little shoulder roll in between. So look towards the right and slowly lower that chin as close to your body as you can. We're crossing our fingers here that your chin actually touches, but again, if you're not at that place today, keep doing this workout. You'll get better every time you do it and feel better too. All right. Let's come close to the wall and extend our left hand so that your palm is pressed against the wall. This one is awesome, awesome, awesome for greater range of motion in the shoulders and upper back. So keep your arms straight, fingers wide, wrists straight, feet straight forward. Let your shoulder blades kind of slide together and back. So all those posture rules apply. And then all we're doing here is think of the eye of your elbow. Everything else stays the same, but you're rotating the eye of your elbow up and then down. You'll probably feel this kind of rise up all the way through all those muscles in your arms. It's very common to feel this in the wrists, in the forearms, in the biceps, the triceps, all through the shoulder. I even feel it a little bit in my upper back, a little bit in my mid back. This one can be really challenging at first, but just like that last one, the more we practice, the easier it will become. Aim for about 10 on each side. Keep rechecking your posture. Make sure that chin is up, level, and forward. I know sometimes, like I'm doing here, it can seem like looking at your arm will help you. And maybe it does, but as soon as you've got the rhythm of this, and on in this particular angle, you can certainly see what I'm doing here a little bit better. And I've got more range of motion on this side. But notice how my arm is straight. And then that inner elbow going from facing the ceiling to as close to facing the ground as I can get it. In this lovely view, you can also see the bleach stain on my shirt. But anyways, it's still a cute shirt. For the most part, you couldn't see it in this video, right? Had to go and mention that. All right, moving on. Standing cow's face stretch is next. You might want a towel or a yoga strap to assist you with this, or even a sock will work. So let's bring our right arm up, palm facing your spine as you bend it behind you, and then sweep the left arm, palm facing behind you. And both arms are bent, and you're just trying to see if you can touch the fingers enough to connect. If you can't, that's totally fine. Again, another area to work on. And give yourself a little grace. It's not uncommon to not be able to touch. And you'll see when we do the other side that I can't touch on the other side right now. So, but that's where your towel can come in. Just place that towel in the top hand as you bring your arm up. It'll be easier to grab with that bottom hand. And then we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit and take some deep breaths. I'm just turning around and around so that you can see from different angles, but you do not have to do that. Your job is to breathe deep. So here's the other side. Not quite gonna make it, so I'm gonna grab my towel. Yep, that's exactly what it's for. So I'm gonna take it in my top hand, reach for it with my opposite bottom hand, and then I'm just gonna hang out there. So ideally, if you have a side where you can't touch, like I can't, ideally you'd probably start on that side, hang out there a little bit longer than the other side, since something's going on in that shoulder, maybe your deltoids, that needs a little extra attention. Flow that breath all the way deep down into the base of your lungs so that your ribs expand, your belly expands. This is a beautiful shoulder opener. It can be a great tricep stretch. It's a great exploratory stretch as well. So when I was making this video, I was like, wow, my right delt is super tight. Okay, so next up, side to side low lunges. You might want a chair for this one. Either way, set your feet nice and wide with your toes pointing forward, soft bend in your knees. And your hands can be wherever is most comfortable for you. Adjust your outfit, and here we go. We're gonna bend deep into one leg, send the butt back as far as you can, and then we're gonna go the other way. So you're shifting from side to side. On this one, try and stay as low as you can and try to come over far enough that your shin lines up over your middle toes. You might have to adjust the space between your feet. And also, again, you're trying to keep your butt back as far as possible. Make sure that knee is not going over your toes when you bend deep into that leg. If it feels like it's real tight, maybe on the inner thighs on one side or the other or both sides, I want you to pause there and hang out for a little bit. You might feel your quads or your booty or your hips start to talk back to you on this one. This is a great warmer upper. All right, let's stand back up tall. We're gonna do a forward fold swivel. This one is awesome, awesome, awesome for the hips. So slowly roll yourself down. Let your arms just hang. And then from that forward fold position with your feet about hip distance, I'm just doing a little swivel side to side. Doesn't have to be fast. It can be as slow as you want it to be. You could also cross your arms if that feels better. And just swaying a little bit side to side, feeling how that small change in the forward fold changes the sensations you're feeling in the rest of your body. And then eventually pause on one side. You might extend your arms again to give you a little bit of an anchor, but just pause on one side and take a couple deep breaths there. Let your head be as heavy as possible. And when it feels right to your body, transition to the other side, sweeping those arms around, kind of anchoring yourself with the fingertips on the other side, allowing the backs of the legs to extend. Maybe you visualize those muscles lengthening. It's very common to feel this in the low back. Try to let your neck relax. And then curl up, articulating one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. Okay, first time we're gonna come down on the mat. You might want a pillow close by if you have sensitive knees. So what we're gonna do is start in tabletop, curl the toes under, and then slowly start to go back. Now you might find that you can't sit on your feet on this one, and that's okay. I'm gonna demonstrate sitting on that bolster that I have right there. So you could use any kind of cushion that might ease the tension in the quads or in the knees on this one. Now, ideally, my friend, on this one, we would sit here for about 2 minutes. Now, this workout does not have you doing this for 2 minutes, but I would love to have you just make a mental note of this one. Breathing your way through it. So I'm going to grab that bolster so that you can see. So you'd actually prop that bolster between your calves and your butt and then just hang out there. That also takes a little bit of the pressure off of the toes. So this might be a good option if this particular thing is excruciating for you, which it is for a lot of people at the beginning, but I pinky swear this is another one, all of these really. If you do it on the regular, it's gonna feel so much better. Maybe 2-3 times you're gonna feel so much better. All right, continue to breathe. And let's move on to the next feel-good activity. All right, so shift your body forward into a tabletop position. Line up your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees about underneath your hips. Knees can be hip width or even a little wider might feel good. And then basically what you're doing is taking that left arm, thread the needle through under your body and underneath your arm. Moving your head with it. You're kind of following your hand with your eyes. And then you're going to rotate open, trying to keep your hips fairly still. Now they're going to move a little bit, but what you're trying to do is find rotation from your thoracic spine, or that mid to upper back area. So this is an area of our body that tends to get really tight and really restricted. When you've done about 10 or so of those, you can sit back, take a little break off of your hands, and then we're going to work the other side. The area of your spine that we are trying to make more mobile is your thoracic spine. So we're working on the other side. Just move to the edges of where you feel like you might feel that first point of tension. Don't go any further than that. None of these exercises are about being forceful. They're about ease and finding a little bit of flow. Maybe you inhale that arm up, exhale the arm underneath you. As long as that breath stays big, and notice any difference from side to side. Super common. You might even see a difference on mine from side to side. Okay, let's transition to face down. We're going to do something called S waves. So you can either lift your chest up off the ground if that feels okay. That's going to be more work for your back while you're doing this. And then you're basically doing that cow's face stretch, only you're sweeping those arms around and alternating sides at a more rapid pace. Don't worry about being able to touch or not touch. And if it feels more comfortable for you, leave the chest and the forehead on the ground. Do whichever version feels like it's giving you better benefits in your shoulders and in your upper body. All right, so about 10 of those. And then, my friend, we're going to transition to our first plank of the day. So let's set our plank up, feet about hip distance. Arms straight, shoulders over your hands, and we're gonna flow between a plank and a down dog. So in that down dog, imagine your hips lifting up towards the ceiling and going slightly back while your heels drop towards the ground. So I just demonstrated a little more bent leg version of this one. You can do whichever one feels better to you. So you're shifting forward and then shifting back. If you're hungry for a little more challenge, notice in the upper left, what I'm demonstrating there is taking one arm up off the ground as the hips lift up, and I'm reaching to the outside of my opposite leg. So just an option. Otherwise, go for about 10 of these. Pausing in that down dog if it feels great. All right, time's up on these ones. Well done. Next up is our figure 4 forward and back stretch. So you're going to sit on the floor, extend your left leg, and cross your right leg over. Now, if it doesn't feel good to have your ankle resting on your quad, you can also set your foot so like the arch of your foot is on the inside of your knee on the floor. And then you're going to reach forward. And then we're going to shift back, straightening the arms, sitting up tall, and bending the left leg. Continue to rock forward and back between these two. So if you've ever done a pigeon stretch, this is getting you some of the same benefits without quite as deep of a movement. This one can be a little more accessible for some people. Plus, then we get to rotate between stretching that hamstring and calves and ankles on the left leg and stretching the hip on the right side. When you sit back, you might think about kind of pressing the knee forward. You can even use a hand to assist to deepen that hip stretch. And just continue a couple times and then switch sides. As always, if one side feels a little tighter than the other or like it needs more attention, do a little more on that side. We don't have to be too strict about how many reps or how long we do these. Your job is to listen to your body and see what feels like it needs more or needs less. Continue rocking back and forth. Now, especially when you rock back, try to keep the neck lifted. I just made a little adjustment on myself. Keep that spine long. That'll actually enhance the stretch all the way down your body, down into your hip. Couple more. Continue to breathe. If your hands don't reach your feet when you're forward, just rest your hands on the floor. Finding the edge, noticing my feet are dirty. This is classic summer Katie here, dirty feet. All right, plank rockets are up next. So I want you to switch so that you're face down on the mat. Stack those shoulders over your wrists, spread the fingers out wide. And what you're doing is sending your butt back and bending your legs. And then kind of driving forward, like you're going to push off of the balls of your feet like a rocket, right? That's why it's called a plank rocket. So you're going back and forward. Now you might start to feel your quads, so the front side of the upper half of your legs start kicking in. That's very common. And we're trying to keep our knees close to the ground on this one. This is also a great Achilles stretch. So send that butt back, fire forward. About 10 of those. Awesome. I love those. Okay. So come to a seated position. We've got internal, external rotation. So set your feet as wide or maybe a little wider than your mat. And then you're just going to rock those bent legs side to side. You can do this for however long it feels good. I love this in the morning and I love this one before I go to bed. It's just kind of an easy one to fit in. You're just sitting, hanging out, and it's so good for the mobility in your hips. A lot of us have restrictions in internal and external rotation, and this one hits both of them. Continue the flow of breath. Giving yourself some awesome self-love today. Be proud of that. And you made it till the end. So awesome job. If you want a little eyebrow, forehead mobility, you can make some faces. This is your bonus for staying till the end. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so proud of you. If you want a free 5-day challenge, go to funseekerfitness.com and I'll see you next time.